Okay, it is 10:13 a.m., December 24th, 2013, calling Little Canada City Administrator Joel Hansen. Joel, this is Terry Nemmers. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Well, I'm doing super. Can't complain on a blustery, windy, cold, awful day like today. Say, I need to talk to you about what looks like to be a malicious prosecution of an Andrew Henderson by your city attorney's office, Kelly and Lemmons. I happen to have some documentation from the arrest in which the arresting deputy, who suddenly retired, makes a claim here. I'll read you what it says in the incident report. I left the scene with the camera in my squad. I stopped to review the contents of the video camera. I realized I don't understand this camera. To preserve the evidence, I pressed the off button and placed it on the seat. It was at the end of my shift. I headed home. Camera was locked in the squad car. Ramsey County Sheriff's Department Supplemental Report number 1203859. Subject Andrew Joseph Henderson. Role suspect. Reporting officer Deputy J. Molnar. 8670/241, page 607. Well, the unfortunate thing is I also happen to have the Ramsey County Sheriff's Policy Manual, Computer Digital Evidence 814.4, seizing PCDs, page 293 through 294, which clearly indicates what she did was in a violation of county policy, because it says that deputies should attempt to contact an investigator trained in the examination of mobile devices prior to handling these devices. Deputies should not attempt to access, review, or search the contents of such devices prior to the examination by a forensic expert unless exigent circumstances dictate otherwise. Unsent messages can be lost, data can be inadvertently deleted, and incoming messages can override stored messages. If device is off, remove the battery. If the device is on, deputies should determine if it is practical to keep the device powered if there is of a possibility of the device being removed, wiped, or locked. Unless the investigation involves exigent circumstances, it may take a forensic expert weeks or months to examine the device. Thus, pulling the battery in this case is appropriate. Ramsey County, of course, the Policy Manual. So, this Andrew Henderson was charged with numerous, let's see, what is the case here? Obstruction of legal process, misdemeanor, disorderly conduct misdemeanor, and that was 10/30/2012. Now, obviously, if I can spot this, your, Martin Henry Rosini Norder, who's prosecuting for your Kelly and Lemmons, should spot this. So they should realize this is nothing but a contempt of cop arrest in which the cop destroyed evidence. See? So that's the situation here, and I'm just trying to figure out what you're going to do about it, because, I do have your personnel handbook, so, and it does deal with misconduct, so.
Well, the problem is our personnel handbook only covers employees. Kelly Lemmons is not an employee.
Right, but the thing is, you pay them public money to prosecute for you. So I would presume then that would fall in the category of misuse of public funds then, right?
No, I would doubt it.
You doubt it.
Well, we pay them on a lump sum retainer, regardless of what they prosecute.
Well,
So from the standpoint of misuse of funds, we're not paying more money to prosecute any crime. But I don't know. I mean, you've got me at a bit of a disadvantage because I don't know all the details of this case.
Sure.
What you're relaying to me sounds like a different angle than what I'm aware of. But it'd be inappropriate for me to comment on the details of the prosecution because I'd have to have the city attorney make sure I'm not
Of course.
I know there was when you say it's a malicious prosecution, well, all I know is that there was a hearing to consider dismissal of charges, and the judge did not dismiss the charges and felt it didn't need to go forward to trial. So that's all I can judge it on.
Well, I understand that, but see, I've been a victim of malicious prosecution, so I understand how that works. Evidence gets destroyed or tampered with or whatever, and then all of a sudden you can't prove that you're innocent. So, again, this is...
I assume that depends on what the nature of the charge was.
Well, the thing is, destroying evidence is not allowed to start with. It's a due process violation.
But the courts will rule on that. If there's a due process violation, I would think the courts are going to toss the charge.
Well, of course, because the judges are honest as the day is long. God appointed them, right?
I think the governor did.
Well, if you think he's God, then obviously that's the problem. So, well, that's the situation.
Have you talked to our city attorneys?
Oh, well, actually, I haven't. Because they work for you.
Yeah, obviously they're a contractor. We contract with them for a city attorney work both on the civil and prosecution side.
Right.
Patrick Kelly is the head of the firm.
Right. I understand all that.
Martin's supervisor.
Right.
And he's the one that could probably best answer those questions. And
well, the thing
you're
is,
welcome to give him a call, or if I can facilitate something, I'd be happy to do that.
Oh.
I don't know that he said. Just historically, the city's role in interceding in prosecutions has been like nil in all the years I've been here, because and this is the second city attorney firm we've had in the years I've been here.
Uh-huh.
But the city allows them to do that, and if we felt there was ongoing problems, obviously we would take that into consideration before we renew their contract.
Well, that's, I guess, why I'm presenting this to you, because, again, you're the one who contracts with them. You are the one who pays them. So obviously, if there's a problem with this case, it would behoove you to look into this situation to see if you do want to renew your contract with them, because I presume their appointments are coming up soon, or if you haven't already done them. So, that's why I'm bringing this up now.
I think, wouldn't it be premature to try and make a decision on that when the matter's still before the courts?
Well,
how do I make a judgment on that when the courts haven't made the judgment?
The thing is, I have public documents, I have her incident reports, and I have the public documents from the policy manuals from Ramsey County. See, okay, excuse me.
It's not part of the criminal prosecution. The policy manual would be a personnel matter for the sheriff's department. If she mishandled evidence or property as part of their policies, that would be a personnel violation. It would be dealt with as an employee situation. I don't know that they directly relate to the prosecution of a crime, other than if the evidence gets back to the due process argument you mentioned earlier.
Well, actually, I'm glad you mentioned the employee relationship, because after I submitted a data request in, I do believe it was June 29th of this year, for another case of Andrew Henderson there, I brought this...
Ramsey County you're talking about?
Correct. I brought this information up to the public information officer, and of course I had to report him to the sheriff because he was trying to rip me off on data. But that little segment from the incident report I read to you, I put on my data request, and the sheriff apparently lawyered up, and soon afterwards this deputy who made took the camera of Andrew Henderson mysteriously retired after 33 years, which seems like an odd number. But see,
I don't think it's, I can't comment on her retirement.
Well, okay.
But I can tell you that with the changes in the PRA law, there are many officers, whether with the Ramsey County Sheriff's Department or any police department in Minnesota, law enforcement agency in Minnesota, because of the changes in the penalties. And there probably should be a ton of retirements here before end of May because of that change in the law. And I don't know what her personal situation was. I vaguely know who Jackie was, but I don't know her well.
Right.
She was a deputy, but
right.
I don't know the personnel details. And the communities that contract with the Sheriff's Department, Police Services, Shoreview, Vadnais Heights, us, White Bear Township, Gem Lake, Arden Hills, and North Oaks, we're not managing the personnel. We manage the contract with the Sheriff's Department. We meet monthly and review those kind of issues, but that's nothing we've
Right. Well, see, I'm used to getting these policy manuals from different cities and counties, and I noticed one thing is there that these employees who apparently are involved in criminal activity are allowed to resign in lieu of being prosecutors, essentially what it is. So, and plus, I also had a situation where a chief of police mysteriously retired, when there was problems with data also. So,
I don't mean to argue with you. I'm just saying that
right.
That policy manual is a personnel issue versus.
Oh, I understand that.
Subjected her to disciplinary action. I don't know that it subjects her to prosecution. I mean,
okay,
if there was a due process violation, maybe that would, but I don't know enough about that. All I know is that a violation of a personnel manual isn't necessarily going to result in any kind of prosecutorial activity because it's a personnel manual versus a law violation.
Well, it's kind of funny you mention that because I have the police department policy manual for the Duluth Police Department, and in there it says injuring an individual or falsifying reports is criminal misconduct, and of course they'll be prosecuted for criminal misconduct.
Does this one say that? Does Ramsey County Sheriff have that provision?
I don't have the complete manual for it.
Okay, I see. You just had that one. Okay.
Right. I typically.
Yeah, and again, you could be. I don't know. I don't know that because I don't. That's not.
Well, I understand that you are not in charge of the deputies. You're in charge of your police, and you're also in charge of your prosecutor. I just brought that up to put things into context.
Sure. No, I appreciate
So obviously, this is a multi-jurisdictional case. You have
just to be clear, the Sheriff's Department is our police department.
Oh, okay.
We don't have our own police department. We contract with the Ramsey County Sheriff's Department for police services. I mentioned those other communities. That they are our police department.
Oh, well, okay. I'm glad you clarified that for me because I didn't know that. Well, then again, you should probably be looking into this situation with your contract with Ramsey County because again, if your contracted law enforcement is destroying evidence, again, it would behoove you to look into this to see if you actually want to renew your contract with them.
Well, obviously that would be, if there was an issue, and our city attorneys would advise us, obviously they give us a lot of input as to whether it goes back and forth. The Sheriff's Department tells us if they think our prosecution activities are appropriate, aggressive enough, not aggressive enough. The Sheriff's Department, or the prosecutors tell us if the Sheriff's Department, is making mistakes, and to that extent, they provide training to help in those areas. So, there is a system in place that kind of works for those areas, but again, the specifics of this one, I think it seems a little early to start making judgments on when it's not been resolved yet.
Well, again, the thing is that, according to the newspaper articles, the ACLU said it should never even saw the light of day to start with. So,
the judge disagreed.
Of course, I understand that because, I'll put a little more into context here. Just this summer, the Polk County paper had an article in the newspaper in which the Supreme Court was threatening of removing the chamber judge from Polk County and transferring it down to Rochester. And the reason why that was because I was calling down to the Supreme Court reporting that the judge was nothing but a common criminal. So, the thing is, I'm well aware that, again, just because it's a judge doesn't make him an honest person.
And I can't judge the judge, obviously. I don't know. I don't even know who the judge was hearing this case. I'd have to review that. But, I understand that, judges can make mistakes and do things improperly as well. That hasn't been you're the first one that's mentioned that concern to me.
Well, that's the thing. Again, you have the contract with the prosecutor. You have the contract with the sheriff's department. So that's why I'm calling you, because it's your contracts. You are paying them public money, and if they are producing results that are result in due process violations or illegal seizures or malicious prosecutions, then I think it's your job to look into this, and that's again why I called you.
Sure, no, so I understand. And as I've said, I think it's hard for me to make those judgments on the front end. I mean, we get to the judge's integrity is what it comes down to. But for me to intervene at this point and make a judgment before it's been decided in the courts, I think is inappropriate. Can I put you on hold a second? There's somebody at the counter here. I'm only one here today.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yep. Thank you. Yep.
I'm just not very good at this phone system here. It didn't ring out here at all. I don't know what the problem is, but
yeah, I just listened to a lot of music for a while, so and then all of a sudden it just hung up. So.
Yeah, I tried. It said I hit the transfer and it just did not ring out front here.
Sure.
My line was still blinking, but
sure.
Oh well.
Oh well, we're talking to each other, so that's the important thing. So.
Yep.
Well, anyhow, you said that the Ramsey County calls you up and said that you're not aggressive enough on your prosecutions, and
no, I didn't say that. I said they would tell us.
Right.
We asked them if they think the city attorneys, whether and this has been for years, but if they think the city attorneys are aggressive enough on prosecution or doing what they need to do. Likewise, the prosecutors tell us if the sheriff's department prepares things properly, is properly prepared for court, is handling things appropriately, and if not, then they will provide training for those areas.
Right. Well, I guess the word aggressive is what I'm focusing on right now, because as I minored in speech communication in college, and one of the books I have mentions aggressiveness. It's called The Tantrum Trap. It says aggressive people are insistent on standing up for their own rights while ignoring and violating the rights of others. And that's out of Contact, Communicating Interpersonally with by Dr. Terry, or it's by Terry Quall Gamble and Michael Gamble. So, again, that's where, I kind of bristle when I hear the word aggressive, because, asserting your rights is one thing, but being aggressive, which means you have no concern for anyone else's rights, you just are only concerned about your own. So, again, that's...
Or you're concerned about the people that have had their rights violated by the person that's being charged. I mean, we can debate that, but I think most cities would tell you we want prosecutors to be aggressive regarding, criminal activity in our communities, whether it's, code enforcement actions or...
Right. Well, the thing is...
So,
I understand.
And I'd say appropriately aggressive. I mean, obviously we don't, we want a level of reasonableness in there as well.
Right. Well, again, that's where I'm saying, it's that choice of words there, That's what, again, it brings the baggage with it, of, again, what I brought up,
So what I understand what you're asking me to do. I'm telling you, I think I need to, I think this needs to be resolved so that before I could try and make any judgments on it.
So,
and ultimately, it's the city council that makes that decision. I mean, I would bring it to the council, but they're the ones that have to approve contracts or revoke contracts or cancel contracts or change contracts.
Again, I guess what I'm bringing up is, the thing is, you don't have to wait to look into this, because if all of a sudden he gets prosecuted and convicted of something he didn't do, then that's a miscarriage of justice, and of course then you knew about it and did nothing about it. You wanted to wait till, it's all over and done with.
If he gets convicted, how is it a miscarriage of justice? I mean, now that means the entire legal system.
I just got done saying if he got convicted and he did nothing wrong, that's the situation. That's what I'm speaking of, okay? The thing is,
do you know what he's been charged with? What specifically was he charged with?
I read that to you just earlier here. It is disorderly conduct and obstruct legal process, lawful execution, legal process.
Well, is that the charges that the city attorney filed? That's from the police report, I think you said.
I'm reading off of the case file from the Minnesota Public Access Remote.
Oh, what you can find online for that.
Right, exactly, which the state puts up. So this is the state is prosecuting them. It's the court files. Okay, so that's what I have here. two misdemeanor charges: obstruct legal process, lawful execution, legal process, 609.50.1, subdivision 1, and disorderly conduct 609.72.1, misdemeanor.
Okay.
All right?
Well, I will talk to the city attorney and just see what, where this is at and what their perspective is. I know a little bit about this one only because you said it's garnered some media attention, so they have given us some background, which we typically do not receive on most prosecution activity.
Well, I would
We
presume
do get a summary of prosecution activity with the billings, but we don't, they typically don't provide us where they're at unless it's something we've asked them to follow up specifically with us, like, code enforcement complaints or, those types of things.
Okay, so you said you get a summary?
Well, in the billing, they provide us, a summary of their activity, yes.
Okay. So is that information public information?
Well, bills are public, sure.
Okay, good, because I'll probably be requesting the bills for this case. Of course, I'll wait till it's over and done with.
And just so, like I told you earlier, you can surely request them, but the bill, they don't show hourly, well, I'd have to go pull one to be sure, but we pay a flat fee retainer for all the prosecution activity, and then there's a summary listing of the prosecution activity.
Sure, that's
I can't
fine.
remember I'd have to look at it, so I don't remember how the hour breakdown is or what they're showing, but
Right.
you are welcome to request it. We'll provide anything we're required to provide.
Okay, so then you said they're on a retainer. You pay a flat fee. So is there a contract? Yeah. Is there a contract you sign with these?
Yes.
Okay, good. And then I think I saw something online where they had submitted a proposal to become your city attorneys.
Oh, yeah, that's a few years ago, yes.
Right. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I
So
lose track of time, but it's probably been 6 years already. I'd have to go pull that. But we did a request for proposal process, and our former city attorney submitted, a number of other firms submitted.
Sure.
This firm submitted, and this is the firm the council selected.
Sure. So I would presume, since it was online, that would be public information also, and
The proposals and so forth.
Yes.
Well, all that is public information.
Okay. Well, the thing is, I'm asking because I have some cities down here that are refusing to give me that same information. So they're just.
Well, I don't know how that's not public information.
Well, the thing is, like I told you, there was a reason why I contacted the Supreme Court saying that the judge was a criminal, because all the supporting apparatus down here, the county and the cities, were aiding and abetting in it. So they're trying to obstruct me as much as possible. So again, that's why I question everything and I look into everything, and that's why I make calls and I document everything I do.
Where did you go to school?
Which one? Oh, I went to University of Minnesota Morris.
Oh, Morris, okay.
Yes.
Well, you said speech communications. I went to St. Cloud State, and that was
Okay.
a speech class I had. There was a speech professor who I was just curious if you had him, but
No.
obviously not.
No. Different place. So, but anyhow, that's the situation. So, you said you're going to contact your law firm there, and
Yeah, I will talk to them Thursday.
Okay.
When we're back in here.
Okay. Well, then, how if I call? Are you going to be open on Friday, or are you closed on Friday?
Yes, we're open Friday. I'm going to be out a bit. We're touring some facilities, some public works facilities, so I will be out of the building a good portion of Friday. But the city is open.
Okay. Well, then I will probably give you a call. But in fact, I will call you back on Friday. So, but I'll call and see if you're around and see what your schedule is at that time. Because if you're going to be out most of the day, I presume that.
Yeah, I know. I think the first tour, or at least one of the tours, is set for 9 a.m. and we have to get over there. So I'm not. I haven't seen the rest of the schedule. Our public works superintendent was setting those up, but.
Sure. So, like I said,
I'll
I'll
be around otherwise, and if you call, I can call you back. When I get back in here.
Right. That's what we'll do. We'll see how your schedule's going.
And the only thing I'll say is that the only issue will be is if I don't know if the people in the city attorney's office are all going to be there the rest of the week, or if they took off over the Christmas holidays. But I will call them Thursday and find out.
Well, that's all I'm asking. If that's what you tell me on Friday, then I'll accept that. I have no problem with that at all.
Yep,
So,
sure.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right. Sorry for the phone mess up.
That's no problem. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye now.
Bye.